What up, everybody? It's your boy Toks, and of course, my man on the other side of the pond. That's what I'm going to say. On the side of the pond, Slang. You. And we're bringing you a little bit more
Do you see the
extra
chalk in the air?
ginger.
You see the chalk? I put the chalk.
That's long gone. They said LeBron's going to retire this year. That's what people are saying.
Yeah, that's what people are saying.
People are saying that right now. I mean, it's like
I honestly would like him to retire, quote unquote, early, even though it's not early. But I would like him to retire while he's. I don't want to go through the MJ in Washington years.
yeah. But I don't think he's set himself up to be nothing like that. He doesn't need to come
No, that's
back,
true.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, he doesn't need to.
Exactly.
Jordan,
That's why I wanted to do a totally different thing.
But
Kobe,
Jordan, I think
Kobe type style.
But Jordan did need to come back because he didn't have anything else.
No, that's why. Well, that's not what they say. They say he came
Okay.
back because in order to buy the franchise, he wanted to buy the Wizards.
Wizards, yeah.
In order to increase their value, that's why he came back. That's what they say.
It was a business move.
It was more business than, but it's it's when you sell Jordan as this high end competitor, it's hard to tell me it's just business. I'm sure he wanted to play. I'm sure he thought he still had it enough and that type of stuff. So, but that's what they say.
I guess, but I mean, still, it's a bit much for him to come back. But again, you're right. LeBron, he has a lot of things going on. He could be a movie star if he wanted to. He could run an organization, of any sort. He can buy a team if he wanted to. He can invest in a whole bunch of things. Yeah, even politics. People would like the young folks. He has them by the nutsack. He's got everything, and then he got his kids in a position where they don't have to really do much. Although they're pretty decent kids in the game, I believe. I heard. Again, I don't know. I don't watch their kids. So they're also
good,
set up for something, right?
Bryce is better to me, but Bronny's good. I didn't think Bronny had it to make it to the league. I didn't think he had but in this last year, it looks like he might have it. I don't know about the straight from high school talk that they're having.
No,
but because of who he is and who his father is, I could still see it. I don't know if he has enough talent to do it, but he has enough talent with his name to do it.
The thing is, if he does do it that way, it'd be a rough first 2-3 years to get in there. But when he gets his groove, he might be unstoppable.
Right. Once you're there, all you need is
the opportunity. Yeah, I agree. But again, if you're a smart parent or smart business person and you want to invest in something like that, let them go through the process. I think anybody who jumps from high school to whatever is jumping the process in this day and age. Back in the day, it wasn't no different.
I totally disagree.
No, I'm talking about seasoning and talking about competition. Yeah. You're not going to get the same competition in high school as you are going to get in college, right? Because you're in a certain small area and you're going against people that you live across the street from and whatever, or down the lane. Whereas when you bring it to college, you're bringing people from all over the country to assemble to a team that was made to compete. The high schools that are out there really don't make them to compete per se. They just get what they have and present.
You go to.
Yeah, of course.
It's totally that's the difference between now and back in the day. But there's 2 points. I would agree that maybe they shouldn't go straight to the league, but I don't agree that they should go to college either. Maybe you go overseas, maybe you play in the G League, whatever. But I don't necessarily think you now. First of all, nothing applies to everybody. That's my say. Not everybody should go to college because some guys can go straight to the leagues. Yep. Not everybody should go to the league because some guys should go to college.
Yeah.
So I agree, but I disagree at the same time. My main point, which has always been my point when it comes to this, why is it that we have this standard for basketball and football only? Baseball players can go professional from high school. Hockey players can go professional from high school. Golf professional from high school.
The thing is because they have certain leagues in hockey and baseball that continue them playing, whereas you don't have anything like
basketball.
What leagues? What I'm talking about,
we just said G League.
Okay, but the G League
they have the Ontario Canadian Association, which is They have smaller professional leagues.
Okay, because
Now,
these like for instance in hockey, I know they have the Oshawa Generals and in certain Brampton whatever. So they have club
yeah,
leagues, I could say, that they will mold these kids in that are in high school or whatever, and they will put them in the next kind of echelon of talent because they're still playing, right? They
basketball has
don't
the same
and
thing. The only
schools
thing
not
I don't know is
involved,
for
but
football.
I didn't think that there was anything for basketball until you just mentioned that, because I
Yep.
didn't think there was anything outside
There
of.
always has been. Now it's different. They've kind of made it a little bit more catered, but they're always the G League's been there since we've been like we're in high school.
Yeah. No, you're right. It just
But
hasn't
back
got
then
the
you were allowed to jump straight to the league, so the G League wasn't as touted as it is now.
G League is
I
actually
can't even think
very
it's called the G
competitive.
League anymore.
No, it's something else.
Yeah, it's something else. I can't remember.
It is something else. Because
But
I
all I'm
know.
saying is, I'm not saying go to the NBA or NFL. What I'm
Mhm,
because I'm not every baseball player goes, to your point, straight to the major leagues. I'm
right.
saying professional, wherever that is. That could be overseas.
Yeah, you're
That
right.
could be again playing for the OBA, or is it OBA or OCA or whatever they call it. Could be a very small league. Could be playing for which I'm kind of waiting for this to start happening.
What's that?
Ice Cube's league.
Oh,
What's it
the
called? Big Three.
big
The Big
three.
Three.
That's a 3-on-3 league, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's where I think where Ice Cube could explore is starting it so that rookies, younger kids, or start to play that game. It
Of
makes it more exciting, more athletic. I know he's
instead
kind of
of the old
selling
timers
the former
names.
players or the
Yeah,
guys who didn't right names right now.
yeah,
But
yeah.
to legitimize, quote unquote, the league, I think it's a good idea if he starts going into drafting players like real up and comers who are
Right.
trying to get to the NBA.
But does he have the money to make
That's the
build these
question.
contracts? That's
Yeah,
the thing.
that's the question.
Because I
That's
mean,
the
these
question.
guys who are coming in who are in that league not really needing the money per se, but it's the
Mhm.
name that gets them back on board to make them legitimate again, right?
And they just feel
So
like playing still.
exactly. So I see
Well,
what you're
that's
saying,
true.
but I get your point. I didn't know there was leagues out there for basketball. There is none for football, unless
Yeah, not that I know of.
well, you have the XFL now. Excuse me.
Now, and I would even say CFL.
Yeah, a lot of people go CFL. A lot of people
Yeah,
go
I would
CFL.
even say CFL is
But
basically, but still not the same.
but there's a lot of politics in all these leagues.
Of
And
course.
people have studied you, because I went and tried out in the CFL, and
Mhm.
they've already have eyes on certain people they want in their league. You need
Of
to
course.
be that LeBron James type of character to freaking turn a guy's head and say, "Yo, you're a walk on.
If you don't
You're
have the
from
name.
where? Right.
Yeah.
If you don't have it,
Yeah.
you're busting your ass. So you
That's
you
fact.
better make sure you have the tape, or you have the talents to compete, because
Yeah.
these guys they flew a guy in from Hawaii D2 to come in and try out as a quarterback.
Hawaii, eh?
Yeah. They
Okay.
flew him in. I'm
Well,
like,
that makes
yo,
sense. That makes sense.
I'm like, wow, because D2
Samoan?
is not going to get the same type of love as D1 people in the States. Because I mean,
Yeah.
D2 is a different tier. So I'm like, okay, but yeah, I mean, you have to be still talented enough to compete to in any of the leagues. But the CFL is a great farm or starter league, I guess you can say, for some people who want to go to the NFL. Some people
That would be
say,
my only question. I don't know if the CFL is a
but I'm not going to
is a
say the
great
CFL is a
pipeline.
farm, but I don't
Yeah.
think the CFL was made for that. CFL is on its
Yeah.
own. Because there's some
Right. I
stars
don't
in
think it's a
CFL.
great right. You still have to be a star in the CFL to be
Yeah.
noticed by the NFL.
Because there's
I
some
can see that.
legends that will go in the Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
probably in the NFL, because of the CFL. Man, like
Yeah.
Warren Moon, he did CFL
Yep.
from time, and
Flutie.
Doug Flutie. Those guys are CFLers who
Mhm.
just dominated because they didn't get the looks when they were coming out of college or whatever.
Yeah.
Warren Moon, coming off a Rose Bowl triumph to the Canadian Football League and immediate Grey Cup success with the Edmonton Eskimos.
Doug Flutie and the Toronto Argonauts, Grey Cup champions in 1996. The Toronto Argonauts, Grey Cup champions again.
Yeah.
So now they have, and then there was other leagues like the USFL is out there.
Yeah.
There was NFL Europe back in the day. So
Yeah.
all these things are there, but because they can't pay these people, they did die.
I'm
So-
sure there's some kind of small circuit in the States for football. I'm sure there is some quote unquote pro am circuit or something like that. I'm sure there's one because they love that sport way too much to not have it in like a Texas or some of these down
Yeah,
south. I
but
could
here's
see
the
that.
here's the thing. Would you watch it though? See,
I'm
'cause
sure
all
it's not
about-
getting-
It's not about.
I'm sure people barely watch the CFL, which I wasn't going to even say that, but CFL has a problem with attendance, and that's a professional league. So yeah, I agree. You're not going to get, but that's not. If I was a player if I was a player with aspirations of still making the NFL or let's stick with football, of making the NFL, I wouldn't care if people watch per se. I
You
would
just
care if
want
scouts
your skill.
watch.
Right.
But I don't really care about the fans so much because I don't plan to stay here.
Okay,
The
but
only
now,
time I would care about that is if I plan this. I'm playing because I love playing and I don't really want to do nothing else but play. And this is where I could play right now.
okay, that's a bit half true for me because I hate to say it, fans make superstars, right? Talent
That's true.
Talent gets
That's
you in the
true.
league, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's
but when you do something crazy, not every scout's going to be every game. People are going to
That's
put your
true.
highlights on YouTube, TikTok, whatever, and then people
No,
are going to
that's a
notice,
fact.
right?
Yeah,
so
It's definitely easier.
Yes,
Definitely.
yes.
Yeah, I would agree.
But
with that.
there is a process for all that for sure. With that being said, I mean, if you had a chance, when you loved the game, when you were playing back in the day, would you make that call to go straight from high school to the NBA, or would you per se go through the process of going to college or JUCO and all that stuff? Do you think?
Okay, so it's tough for me to answer that question because I was never that good.
No, not per se challenging.
But I know
skills,
hypothetical.
Yes, hypothetically.
Okay. Hypothetically speaking, if I was that good, I would go straight to them. If I was being considered, like if I had a choice, that's what you're asking, if I had a choice between college and NBA, I'd probably pick the NBA unless in my heart, like I didn't feel I was ready. I'd have to not have the confidence in my game or in my ability to become good enough right away.
Okay.
Then I might, but the money. Okay, if we're talking like if this was today, then not back in the day.
Yeah,
because back in the day, I would go to the NBA because of the money.
Yeah, I'm talking about right now. If you had,
now,
yeah,
I might go to college. I might.
I was gonna challenge you. I said I'm going to college.
It depends.
Why?
Yeah, it depends. If I'm making roughly not the same, but if I'm one of those $300,000 to $400,000 to $500,000 a year NIL kids, I'll go to college. I'll go to college.
Okay. See, with me, I don't think it's even per se money wise. I think you go to college to put your stamp on history, make a legacy for yourself, man. Like freaking Grant Hill and Christian Leitner and all these guys. They talk about them to this day
in college
because of the legacy they put in it, and they weren't even paid. So when they even got to the league, they had a name, they had a brand right behind them. So yeah, you can sit there and say you own the the NCAA. It's like I was the top guy. You could see freaking my history books. You could see the video, right? So they'll say, oh, and even if you don't make it in the NBA, you still got that legacy. You'll be freaking doing tours and whatnot, all these different schools. You can get a job as a scout or a coach or whatever, just because you went to college. You could have been the greatest guy out there.
Yeah, I guess again, it kind of depends, because if your ultimate goal is to get to the NBA, right? Because my pushback to that is you may never make it though. Like you may never make it to the NBA going to college because injury, all that.
Yeah,
all that. I was just watching a thing on Ed O'Bannon. You remember Ed O'Bannon from
UCLA? The Nets, right. Yeah.
And he was a great college player. When he got to the league, he played he didn't play 5 years, but he was in college for 5 years and got to the league and basically was a bust because he injured himself in college and didn't fully recover. Plus bad situation, blah, 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 which there's no way to, like, it's funny if you listen to a lot of these athlete stories, like superstars and you watch any of these podcasts and they talk about their path. Yeah. And a lot of them will refer to like a one decision that they attribute to getting to them where they got to. It's really a bunch, but they'll look at, like, for example, Kevin Garnett. You glad are you happy you didn't go to college? Yeah, man, greatest decision I ever made. Look how my career turned out. But then you ask a guy, I don't know, Isaiah Thomas, and Isaiah Thomas wanted to go to a different school, but he ended up at Indiana, and he's like, that was the greatest thing to ever happen to me. If I had gone somewhere else, I probably wouldn't be here right now.
That's right.
So I could definitely say I think the money would be a factor for me, as well as, but more so the confidence in my game at the time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because again, it also depends on, because you asked me, I answered as me. But if I was coming from a poor family,
you're going right to the top. Yeah. No, I get it. That makes sense. Because I mean, why bother waste years in college when you can feed the family in a year?
In 1 year contract. Yeah.
In 1 year. Yeah.
Not
You're
even
right.
a 1 year because it's guaranteed, right?
That's
now,
true.
and if like football is a little different, but also still on the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Even more risk of getting injured and not making it to the NFL, but making it to the NFL still doesn't guarantee you the money.
That's true. Now, I think that's probably why there's no other leagues and stuff like that for NFL, just because the risk of injury is higher. It makes
Short
more sense
lifespan.
to just I mean the league itself on its own, players are only playing 4 or 5 years these days, and then they're done.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to push 5-6 years and they get hurt and they'll never play again, or they're not the same person. So and of course they have all these diagnoses and all the CTEs and all this stuff about your head and your injuries and blah blah blah. And I'm like, man, because a lot of people are cutting their careers short because of it. And I don't blame them. I played in a time where it was the risk of injury, because I did injure myself, but it wasn't to the point where I was knocked out unconscious and suffering or whatnot. But now these guys, it's a new breed of player. It's a new style of game.
Yeah,
it's very more barbaric.
It's a different world, man.
It's very headhunterish and it's scary sometimes.
Now?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I thought it was the total opposite. Now it's more headhunter than back in the day.
Well, the back in the day, the rules were different, right? There were no real rules.
Yeah.
So the more the rules came in, the more people tried to break them to make a name for themselves. Mans then were freaking going off a man's head-to-head helmets. Hits. They were different back in the day.
You don't get them as much as back in the days. What I'm saying.
What? No. You get them more now because
more head-to-head.
Trust me.
Than back in the day.
They don't call them as
when there's more fines and rules now.
Remember. No, because again, the game is different. It played different. It's not as fast as it was back in the day. So you weren't getting that head-to-head stuff because they were cautious. They played cautious. You get a 1 or 2 guy who clotheslines a man. Yeah, for sure. I get it. But you're not going freaking 150 freaking miles an hour against another guy's going 150 miles an hour and clocking heads in the middle of the field. That wasn't that back. That wasn't like that back.
I can only take your word for it. I don't watch it, but I thought that they totally revolutionized that because of the issues.
Oh, this again.
I thought it was way better now.
They try to police.
That's all I hear these guys saying, like ex-football players saying, "Yeah, it's a totally different game. These guys don't have to deal with what we had to deal with."
Right? No, now because they're finding them, that's why the people are not doing. But there's still just as much head-to-head contact. Guys are guys are going off on concussion protocol on a regular basis based on.
Yeah, but I think that's because it's more sensitive to that. Back in the day, guys didn't get that because they didn't care. Now you look a little dizzy. Yeah, you're gonna have to sit out.
Okay, fair enough. But I don't think the guys are hitting as hard as were back in the day. I'm not saying there was a softer game back in the day. I'm just saying the
you think they hit harder now?
Yes.
Interesting.
Based on how
delivery to the tight end Knox, who gets by one defender Jones, and then waylaid as he was getting near midfield by.
Here's another one. Watch out! A flag on the hit by Derwin James, who just laid out Ashton.
Pickett to the flat. Hayward, he got hit hard by Alante Taylor.
Based on how these guys are going through remember, these guys are guys who would sit on the sideline smoking cigarettes. Oh, time for me to go in. Put on your helmet and jump in. These guys weren't playing the game like that. Now these guys
healthy.
I saw a video of freaking James Harrison, former Steeler, who's freaking bench presses and freaking curling freaking 200 pounds. These guys are
but James Harrison is a hybrid. He played in both eras.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that now they're training these guys.
I agree with that.
Yeah, they're training these guys to be monsters. Yeah.
I do agree that they're more athletic, stronger, faster, that type of stuff.
And they care for the game more.
If they're more, I don't know if they play as dangerous as those older guys do. That's kind of what I mean.
Okay, yeah, you're right on one point where back in the day there was a don't care attitude. I'm going to hit you, take your head off, and call it a day.
Yeah, I'm trying to hurt you.
Right, but again, that's Jimmy Smith from who used to be a freaking carpenter who's coming at you. Hey, I know your kids, type of thing. Whereas now you got freaking Ray Lewis coming in. Freaking taking off your head and then taking your head.
Okay, what are you talking about old? What's old? Because Ray Lewis is old to me. I consider that old football.
I'm talking black and white old. I'm talking.
I'm not going that far. Okay, that's the disconnect. I'm talking 80s to 90s.
Okay, 80s and 90s
is way more rough than 2000.
It's still new. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
That's what I'm talking. I'm not talking pigskin.
You're right. You're right.
Bruh.
But what I'm saying is the eras have changed, and for some reason, this era right now, it seems to be the dangerous. That's why they're putting all the rules in. That's why they're putting all the restrictions in.
I look at it.
So. They're trying to save people.
Right. And I look at it as a result of the 80s and 90s. Similar to every sport pretty much has gone through this compared to, because when we were growing up watching sports, they were all way more violent. So I think now the rules, no hand checking in basketball. No, you can't knock a guy out of the air. You can't step under him if he goes to shoot. Like, so there's all these new rules to protect scoring.
Yes.
That's why both games, the scoring is way up compared to the 80s, 90s.
Yes, I agree.
Defense is as important as it once was.
Well, no, I don't think it's more not important. I just don't think it sells. People don't want to watch defensive. People don't want to watch a defensive game anymore. Yeah. That's why Europeans love soccer so much, because of the art of the game and the science of the game. Yeah. Whereas they say, oh, football, oh, look at this guy. This is okay. Every 5 minutes, every 3 minutes, they're scoring. This is okay. Where's the excitement? Well, on the other side, Americans are totally different. They think soccer's boring because it takes so long, and they like hockey and soccer and hockey, football and basketball because of the action, consistent action. So I get it. It sells on different
ends.
Also,
why hockey is the lowest on that list, because they don't score as high.
Yes.
I remember a hockey guy's argument to me about basketball not being as good as sports, because they're always scoring. You like what you like. All of this stuff.
Exactly.
Like, if a team gets up by 20, the game's over, which is not true.
Correct.
Because if a team in hockey gets up by 3 goals, the game's over, which is not true.
Right.
Same
no, I totally agree. Totally agree with there. Again, all different realms, all different preferences. I still think the game is different now, to the point where I like the parody of the league, but the rules have changed it where sometimes it's not fun to watch sometimes. In all sports.
I can see it, especially if you're an old schooler watching.
So it's just different for me. So I mean,
okay. So speaking on the football, let me ask you as a football guy.
Segue. Yep.
What? That's jokes. Do you think Lamar Jackson deserves what he's asking for?
100%. The reason why is because of who he is and what he did to the league.
Down the middle of the field. It's a 2nd down and 3. Jackson takes it himself. Look at him dart back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankles. Now he's got an entourage, and he's got a touchdown.
He's pretty much, I want to say, I don't want to disrespect him, but I'm saying it out of respect. He's Michael Vick 2.0, right?
Yeah.
He did something that no one has seen since Michael Vick. And now people are gearing their athletes that way. And now, because of how teams are catching on to this, he could get hurt doing the way he plays. He deserves that money. I'm taking the risk to play this style of game. I'm not your common pocket passer. I'm a man who's exciting, who would do whatever he needs to do to make it work. So yes, he deserves all the money that he's asking for, because he's a long-term investment. Now, if he gets hurt, like everybody does, you're right. But that's the flip of the coin. That's the nature of the beast. That's business.
Yeah, right? But that's my little pushback. Although I fully agree with you, if I'm looking at it from the side of the team, the Baltimore Ravens, he's missed a lot of games in the last 2 seasons.
I honestly think he did on purpose.
Okay, hey, if that's what if that being true, then the perspective might be different. But it depends on what the Ravens know.
You're right.
If they're looking at, if all they know is that he's hurt and they don't think he's playing with them type thing, he's not trying to gain leverage.
Right.
Then you look at it like, yeah, but he's been hurt the last 2 years. Are we on a downward spiral in terms of health here? And then we're gonna give it to him, give him the guaranteed now, and he might not be able to play out this contract, which he probably won't.
Probably
seldom do they,
or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Seldom do they, but which is also probably why they don't want to give it to him.
Right.
But in the immediate pushback to look at what I've done for you is but we don't know if you're going to continue to do that for us.
It's always a flip of the coin though, because it's twofold here. One, he knows what he brings to the team. He knows that because he's done it already. He already got an MVP. He's done some serious stuff. On the flip side, even if they try to go another route, there's no one in the league right now. I mean, all these teams are struggling quarterback wise.
Yeah.
All the teams are struggling quarterback wise. Who are you going to go put your team, your leader in? Like who's going to take that role? No one in the league that really can take that role and run with it the way that I think that Lamar could run with it. Unless you're getting a Patrick Mahomes or you're getting an elite quarterback. You're not. There's no elite quarterbacks these days. Everybody's just kind of on the same level. So
do you think he could win them a Super Bowl?
Yes. If he gives them the proper
He's that
tools,
level of
yes,
quarterback.
yes.
Okay.
Okay. As much as people say, "Oh, he fell off," blah blah. No, he's playing smart. The life of a quarterback in the NFL these days. Once you have 2 bad seasons, you're off to freaking the XFL. You're a has-been. Unless you're consistent, right? Unless you're consistently in there, or you're ingrained in that lifestyle. There's no way you would be able to last. So it all depends on, again, how I think you market yourself. Aaron Rodgers is not the nicest guy, but there was nothing else that the Green Bay Packers could go to. They had to stay with him. Who are they going to pick up? You look around, all these young guys.
Move on now, so they claim.
Well, that's because he's really bad mouthing the team, I believe.
Yeah, and they drafted another quarterback.
Right. So he took offense to that. So obviously he's going to say, "Yo, you don't want me no more? Fine. Forget you guys. I'm going to do something else." I mean, look at Brady. Same thing happened to Brady. They got a quarterback. He was told to mold him. Brady said, "Yo, all right, I'm out.
Mold. I'm out. Else. I can still play."
Yeah. And then he did, and he won. Yeah. And he
wasn't wrong.
No, he wasn't wrong. But at the same time, that was a once in a lifetime opportunity and once in a blue moon type of situation. Most people don't do that. I mean, look at Joe Montana. He tried to do that. He took his team with Kansas City to the playoffs.
Where did he go after that?
KC.
Oh yeah, it was KC. I forgot that.
Yeah,
Joe
and he went there.
Guy too. I like.
And he went there. He won the playoff game, and that was it. And he was done. Yeah. Right.
Joe was my guy. Forgot he played for KC. Holy.
Yeah, I mean those are guys that you would think would never go to another team. But when
Manning did it too, right? Didn't he won?
This is why
Manning wasn't the greatest quarterback, to be honest.
Well, the thing is, I knew Manning wasn't that guy. He wasn't the spotlight type of guy. He just wanted to play football. He's a guy who just wanted to play football, and he played to a point where, you know what, I'm going to play this far. Oh, you guys are not going this route with winning anymore? All right. You don't mind if I go sign somewhere else? They didn't. Again, the Colts don't hate him. They said, "Yo, go for what you want," and he did. Right. So you can't fault a man. He still could have played at that level, and after that, he was done. Let him out. And he's a great person outside of football for the game.
Right. He has
he's a funny guy. He has a family full of football greatness.
Football family.
Exactly. So
isn't there a son or is it his son or nephew?
His nephew is doing some dirt right now. Yeah. Okay. He's doing some dirt right now. But again, like some people are built for that stuff, other people are not. Right? Yeah. If say for instance, I don't know, perfect example. Say Michael Vick. Michael Vick had a great short career, but he was still great. And what is he doing now? We don't know, right?
No, he's Sting. He's broadcaster now.
No, well, what I'm saying, I'm saying he's not doing any endorsement deals or whatnot. He's not that status, right? So a guy once a guy retires, like another person, Russell Wilson, he's still playing. But I mean, what do they do after with him? Is he going to broadcast?
I actually think that guy, because of his squeaky clean image, he might have a pretty good career after football.
Well,
he might. I don't know about analysts or whatever, but I think
right. It just seems some people. You're right. Some people's image are built for the booth, right?
Yes.
Some people's personalities. Look at Chuck and Shaq. Great, all time guys, and they're still there doing the broadcast. They're even having a better career broadcasting than they are, playing. They're having fun with it.
Yep.
Yeah. And then there's guys like, they say Kenny Smith. He didn't have the greatest career. He was decent, but he's doing so much better in the booth. So some people are just built
definitely having a better career as a broadcaster than as a basketball.
Right. So some people fit the mold of a different role. Some people don't, because again, some of these guys fade to black. They go buy a certain industry, like a franchise or whatever, and go run that, and they're fine with that because they know they have nothing else after that. That's why people play so long, right? Look at what's his face, Haslam. He's retiring after this year.
Just retiring this year.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that is in his particular situation, I think that's a lot of the team making him a player coach type thing. And I think that's what's going to end up happening if he chooses to. He might stop playing, but they probably put him in front office or part of the coaching staff or something like that, a trainer or something like that. If he wants to do that, I could see that happening for a guy like him. I don't know if it's so much that he's there expected to play. He's more there expected to guide the new guys.
So he's a
the
mentor.
younger kids. Mentor more. As I said, player coach. He's like what was the guy that the Raptors had at one point that was a player coach? Great. Yogi Stewart are these
Go.
Yogi.
That guy didn't play that, man. He was on there for about a half a minute. That was it.
Yeah,
but yeah,
some
people are built for the league for a certain period of time, and then they can go into that next level. Look at I think they said, who was it that just retired? Brady just retired. He already signed a deal with Fox. I'm going to be in the broadcast.
Pays him almost the same,
right?
Yeah,
I'm like, what? Because
he's a superstar.
But yes, but the thing is, he
super
might be
duper
awkward,
star, like face of the league.
But he might be awkward on TV.
Yeah.
You're going to pay him this much?
You're right. Yeah, you don't even know if he's good at it. That's true.
Exactly.
That's
so like some people are really good at broadcasting. Before
Tony Romo.
Again, that man is legendary on the mic.
Yeah.
He was a great, he's a good to great player. He's not elite status, but he's a good to great player. But on the mic, man, there's no one better right now than him. Maybe Troy Aikman, but Troy Aikman is really just a monotone type of guy. Yeah. And I think his broadcast partner carries him with it, right? So, but Romo, he's excited. He likes to talk about it, and he knows the game, right? So he's
predicting plays and all that.
Yeah. And he will say things that you're like, wow. And then it happens like, this man knows his stuff. So he's going to be that new Madden. He's going to be the guy that everybody turns to when it comes to, right? Just talking football, because that's the man who's running the table and broadcast. And you go into basketball, same thing. Reggie's great on the mic too.
I actually don't like Reggie as a broadcaster. I don't hate him, but I don't. Maybe it's because I didn't like him.
Okay, so in basketball, who's your guy?
As a commentator, or just like we're just talking
the color guy. The color guy on.
Oh, okay, color Well, I like the czar, the telestrator, Mike Fratello.
The
czar of the telestrator.
That's legendary.
But no, if we're talking like former players, I'd have to say, let me think. Let me do a quick assessment here. Former players, I actually really like Grant Hill.
Okay.
I like Chris Webber.
Also, he brings that ghetto fab to the place. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. There's somebody that's that I'm not thinking of that I know.
I have one guy.
Go ahead. Give me maybe
and he's older, but he had that one saying, and that's Mark Jackson.
Mark. See?
So that's
Mark Jackson is the guy.
He wins.
He's the guy. Yeah,
Mama, there goes that man.
That man. Yeah.
That's it.
Hand down, man down. Yeah.
Taking over the basketball game, hand down, man down. Bryant knocks down the jumper, having his way on the offensive end. Dribble penetration, help is late, making the Nuggets pay the price. 7 of 9 field goals in the fourth quarter. How about the pump fake? And mama, there goes that man. Lakers can't wait to get to the finals.
Yeah, it's Mark. You're right.
The truth.
You're right. It's Mark.
It just seemed like it just fit him. Like the one-liners. And again, he's not a dumb man. He's coached. He's played. He knows what he's talking about. Yeah, but he also brought that personality to the vibe.
Yeah,
I'm like, man. That's the only reason why
I would like to hear. I've never heard, and I don't know if he's ever done it. Stephen A. commentate or do one of those color, but I don't know.
He
probably did it back in the day. But he probably be too much.
Up and down. He'd be too much.
Probably would be. But I'm interested. I would be interested to hear it.
I think Mark Jackson is just enough.
Mark Jackson is the guy. No question.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Get in front of Mark Jackson.
I can't.
Sticking with. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but just even the others like Stan Van Gundy.
I love Stan Van Gundy.
Yeah,
them two together is the best. They're like Shaq and Chuck.
Right.
Those two together,
they melt. They melt.
There's
together.
another guy that's with them sometimes. I don't know if it's the same. I don't know. It's not that guy. It's not because he's good too, but he's not a former player.
He's talking Kevin Harlan.
Is it Kevin Harlan that does
that's the voice? He's the voice of
Boom?
all the
He's a boom guy.
Oh no, that's the other guy. Bang. You mean talk about Bang?
Bang. Yeah.
Oh,
Bang. Who's that guy?
Yeah.
Into Tatum. Tatum falls down. Throws it ahead. Schroeder. Schroeder to Smart. Three-pointer. Bang! Bang! He ties the game at the buzzer.
Oh, I forget the guy's name. He's a commentator. He's an actual
more-
analyst. He's more of
he's
the
good too.
network.
I like him.
Yeah,
I like him.
yeah.
I like
That's that guy's good. Everyone has their one-liners.
Yeah, everybody has their style. Speaking of basketball, which is I'm surprised we didn't bring this up when we're talking about what to talk about. Our fellow Canadian is swirled in rumors.
Oh,
Andrew Wiggins.
oh.
We wouldn't be right if we didn't get Messi, right? So we wouldn't be right if we didn't get a little in the dirt here. So, and this will kind of lead to another topic, but for people who don't know, Andrew Wiggins has barely played for the Golden State Warriors this year. Many of us thought it was injury. The rumor, it has yet to be confirmed, and in some ways I hope he never confirms it, that his girlfriend or fiance, right? It's not his wife, I don't believe. I think it's his fiance.
Yeah.
Was cheating with his best friend. And to put the icing on the cake, the kids that he was raising as his own are not his.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Andrew
just signed a new contract. Like, Andrew is, if not, is very close to a billionaire at this point.
Here's the thing, though. If these rumors are true, and now they're technically common law, as they call it, that woman could take half of his.
Yeah. I don't know what it is in the States, but
for
what is it, 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months.
Yep.
So what you're telling me is that you agreed to this union knowing that this is not your child?
No, I don't think he knew.
You didn't know it was best friend's child?
I think that's part of the shock. The greater part of the shock. Because it's not okay, I can only speak for myself, but for me, the pain, it's painful that my fiance cheated with my best friend, and blah blah blah. I would be hurt. That would hurt me, but not like finding out that the kids that I thought were mine are not mine.
That's devastating.
That's devastating, bro.
That's devastating. Yeah.
That's what would keep me from playing. And I'm not saying everybody's different. Yeah, the fiance cheating would keep me from playing, but not for the whole season. I don't see it. I don't know. I don't see it. In fact, I try to play to forget about that stuff. I want to get on the court and try to forget about it.
Yeah.
But the kids thing, I don't think I think it would immobilize me.
Yeah, that what? And someone's got to check on Andrew because things like that, those are life changing. You never know.
I hope it's not true, man.
With what's going on in the world, how people, and I don't know, I'm going to say how men are being treated these days, thinking that they're the dogs all the time. I've gone through situations, and I'm like that man is hurt inside. I'm just saying, it seems like a lot of guys get the short end of the stick, and now it's the reverse. And we all know that men are told to suck it up, be a man, deal with it, whatever. That man is broke. If it's true, that man is broken. He's leaving the game he loves, his meal ticket, his way of life. He has left it, and he
just
has
got
to deal
a
with
new
this.
contract. Just won a championship. Was damn near the MVP of the finals.
Pretty much, he was on cloud 9. The talk of the talk. Everybody thought he was gone. He was done. Yeah. And now all of a sudden this happens. That takes your world to a place you don't want. It's darkness right now. So this man hopefully has the good people. And the thing is, it's his friend. So not even his friend can console him.
It's his best friend, they say.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, in her quote unquote, in her defense, I don't know the broad, but in her defense, she's texted that it's the furthest thing from the truth. But in the social media age, a lot of this is all speculation. She might not even be texting about or tweeting about this situation. It could be something totally different, but people just assume.
Well, okay, and this will be a segue. Seeing that this whole situation has come out in the media, right? My question is, how did it get out there? You're in a relationship with someone.
I was just thinking about
how public, like who is giving people this information? Who is putting it out there? You're private, and I'll be honest. This is on a personal level. I don't want to tell people about my business unless you have to know. If you don't know, no one will have to question you. And and anything you keep in your home should be in your home, in your four walls. You don't have to broadcast. You don't have to tell this person. You don't have to announce this person. You don't have to show off any type of jewelry or whatever. What you have in your house is your house.
What happens with us happens with us.
Exactly. So for them to, again, because they're public figures, I can understand it's a bit different because it is Andrew Wiggins, who is a NBA superstar, NBA champion, and a very nice kid. Okay. So that's going to make it, it's going to take it to, it's just one of these things to superstars talk, right? Whereas an average Joe like myself, if that happened, I'm like, well, Slang doesn't really have to know, right?
Yeah.
Or Poe doesn't need to know, right? My family doesn't need to know. I'm going to deal with it. Right. Because if I can't deal with it, I'll tap out and say, let me go get some help.
Try to get some advice.
Yeah. Let me go get some either professional help or somebody who's been through this situation before. That's the only time you reach out to anybody about your business.
I tend to agree.
So keeping it private is I'm telling everybody, and we are going to have a special guest in a few days about this situation, about relationships, how hard they are and how easy they are at the same time. But yes, I do believe keeping your stuff private is the way to go in this day and age, right? Because of social media.
It's a thin line because I agree. I do agree with what you're saying in general. It's in a general sense. I see a danger on both sides. I do see a danger in not having confidants to go to. I don't say you have to go to them all the time or for everything, but I see a danger in not having a go-to when you quote unquote need it. But I also see a danger in going too much. So I think there's a pleasurable medium or balance there, because sometimes as men, especially, we're just holding in. We're holding in. We're not, again, like you said earlier, we're expected to just take it and keep moving. So that sometimes turns into us just holding it in until it pops, or till we break down in ways that we didn't expect to because of our emotional baggage that we're just keep piling on top. So you do have to be careful of being too private, if there's such a thing. But you also have to be careful of being too open as well, like telling the wrong people.
Right.
So to return back to your original question, how did this get out? As we move on, I can give you my conspiracy theory on how stuff like this gets out, because I watch the fixer type shows.
No.
To this, it totally could be him putting it out there, him getting somebody to put it out there to sully any separation agreement that she made, like you said, her getting half, to put that out there in the space so that we could bring that type of stuff to court later. One, two, to also, I'm not just sitting out, fans. I'm not just, this is not what I'm not just, you know what I'm saying? I'm not just,
he's saving face.
I might not be, I might not even told the team what happened. I could just keep telling them it's personal. It's personal. It's very, I'm going through something very serious, but I may not have given them the details. Now I could kind of slide the details out there, and everybody kind of is like, whoa, this is understandable, bro. Yeah. Now that's provided that it's true.
Okay.
No, actually, it's not provided it's true. Because what I'm saying even applies in if they just broke up and he's trying to set a narrative.
Okay.
For, again, any type of court battle. So it could be from his side. It could be just a family, or like you're saying, a snake in the camp who just leaked it for some money, which that's more likely. That's the more likely thing. Somebody just leaked it to media to get some bread.
I remember my mom told me a long time ago, and I brought this up recently in my life. I'm like, there are people out there, whether you like them or not, if you give them the information, they can use that information to destroy your career in life.
No, that's especially nowadays.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is, like, that's why I'm saying you keep your things to yourself is almost like a security blanket. Because if you tell the wrong person, like you said, that person can go tell this person, that goes tell this person, and all of a sudden it turns into broken telephone, and then you're all of a sudden painted in this picture that gets up to your boss, and they find out that this is what's going on. Sorry, this is not the thing we want for our company. We're gonna have to let you go. But it's not true. It doesn't matter. What I was told or what I was presented seems pretty true to me. I'm sorry. Yes, how it looks. And I'm like, man, I try to keep as private as possible, because You never know. Some people are jealous. I'm not a
No,
jealous guy.
I totally agree with keeping private as
Yeah.
possible. I just know some people that are private to a fault.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I can say that. I can say
But I
I'm one of them
definitely
too.
agree with keeping private as possible. I guess what I'm saying is you should have somebody to turn to in your time of need.
Of course.
Now,
Of course.
the need is relative. So what I'm also speaking to is you also have to recognize the need. Sometimes we are so private we're not recognizing the need.
Mhm.
That's what I guess
Mhm.
what I'm saying there.
Yeah. No, I get it. Get it.
So
You
I have
gotta
a
know
question
your-
for you, and this is
Yeah.
from my personal experience. It's something that I've gone through. Right, I'm gonna lead. Follow me. Right.
Mhm.
So, no, actually, before I ask this question, let me go back to the Andrew Wiggins type of thing. What would you, if you were Andrew, how would you handle that?
But if I was the
If you were
superstar basketball
Andrew,
player, or was
yeah,
just me,
and you
or
have
just me.
you've not even okay. Say you're in the situation. You're not Andrew. Let's say you're in the situation. Say you have you with a girl. You've been raising what you believe to be your kids for I don't even know how old these kids are, but let's say it's 4 or 5 years, right? You created an attachment, then you find out, boom, these aren't your kids. What do? You suck it up.
I know.
You move on.
This might be a very bad thing to say, but I'd kick that woman out in a heartbeat.
Okay. Do you sever ties with everybody, kids included?
No, I would fight for those kids,
even though they're not yours, eh?
I mean, if you depending on the timeline, depending on the timeline,
they
if
are
it's
yours.
5-6 years. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
that's fine.
Yours.
Yeah, so I'm like, why wouldn't it? Yeah. So, but the woman doesn't deserve to stay in the house.
No, I agree with that also. I agree with that also. That's too big of a lie to get over.
But now, if the kids were not of age, then again, say not even one. I'm sorry. Gotta take the child with you because there's no bond yet there, right?
I can see that. So
again, as much as people say, hey, you guys can work it out. Nah, when you put a lie on that, when you put a lie on somebody,
yeah, I don't know about that, bro.
And that's all about money, time, like your emotions are all into this person, or even the child. That's destroys. I go on TikTok and I watch these lovely court proceedings about DNA now because there's no more Maury, so they do it in courts now, and they find out they're not the father. They're not the father. And I'm like, holy crap! This person brought this to court, and it's crazy because they thought it was true, it was real, and I'm like, man, what do you do? This child's 7 years old.
This is the question, Toks. This is the question.
Yeah, hear me.
I wish the man were here. Should paternity tests be mandatory?
For what though?
Just period.
Yes.
Just period.
Yes.
Should anytime a woman has a baby, should that child be tested to see who the father is?
Yes.
I agree.
100%. Because if you know that it's not yours, you'll know who that person is, what type of person you're dealing with. Right. So right off the bat,
there's a lot of court and headaches in the end.
Exactly. Yeah. It saves a lot of headaches, a lot of drama. It might hurt at the beginning when you find out that it's not yours or whatever. But again, it's better you get that out now than 10 years down the line and find out that this is not yours.
Now, okay, so here's the other side of that coin, though. However, making it mandatory will also create a lot more single mothers.
Yeah.
Because like we just discussed, if because I agree with you, if we were in a situation and we found out 5-6 years later, we're still in that child's life. But if we find out at birth, it's pretty much it's done. It's done. So,
but whose fault it is then, other than the mother's? You can't put it on the dad's fault.
Definitely,
never.
No, absolutely.
If a man cheats on a woman,
yeah.
If a man cheats on a woman, most of the time the guy gets kicked out. You're the dog. I get it. Yeah. So if you're having a baby with somebody else, sorry.
Oh no, this has nothing to do with the woman though. I'm not even. She's not a factor. Because regardless, that relationship is done, in my opinion. Whether the kid was 5, 10, 15, 20, the relationship is pretty much done.
Yes.
Well, I'm saying the child now has no father. Whereas if it would 5 years passed and then you found out, you're still gonna be that person in their life.
Yeah.
Well, I can't even say
to a point.
I can't say most but us here discussing it, we both feel that way.
Yeah. Yes.
So that is the drawback, but I still think it's more good than bad.
No, paternity test should be a mandatory thing. It should be one of the first tests you take when the child comes out, just to make sure.
Because also what it avoids, another thing I didn't think of, it also avoids the good old. I know several guys this has happened to, the good old Hello? Hey, Omar, yeah. I have your son here. He's 16. I just
Bro.
thought I'd let you know.
Mm,
I know a couple of those ones, so that's also what it'll avoid. If you have a
mm,
paternity test and then the quote unquote results have to be revealed to that person,
mm,
much like a person who contracts HIV has to contact all their partners. Same
mm,
type of way. You find out
mm,
that, Tom, Dick, or Harry is truly the father and it's not Kwame.
mhm.
Contact Tom, Dick, or Harry and let them know.
Ah,
Kwame
it's
got screwed over.
it's a very very slippery slope when it comes to
Yeah,
kids and relationships,
that's a fact.
and it hurts more than it heals, really. As much as you find
Mm,
out and you're at ease or whatever, but man, if you've already gone in 5 years with this child, 10 years, whatever, that's your child. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
sucks. And that child, we're not even talking about the child's trauma in themselves.
Yes, yes, yes,
You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes, yes.
Now
But
the
that's part
child
of why
finds out.
I wouldn't leave out because that's part of it. Because I wouldn't want the child to go through that part.
Yeah, but that, I mean, you can only ride that ride to a certain point when the child
Yeah, you have
starts
to tell them
saying,
the
you know
truth.
what?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
not even the truth, but I'm saying when the truth gets used against you. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to be a father, and that person says, you know
Mm,
what? You're not my dad. Oh, there you go. You're
mm.
right, and you're done. Because again, kids
Yeah,
that go
nah,
to
man,
that,
that's not gonna fly for me though. But I
well,
understand your sentiment. I
but
get what you're
that's
saying.
what
So
kids do.
yeah,
Kids, I mean, again,
yeah,
not to say
that's
they're
great.
out to do
That's
it,
great, buddy. Yeah.
right?
No,
They'll
I know
say,
you're
hey,
saying though. Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
when they
That's the
start
defense mechanism.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. When they
yeah.
start doing
Don't
that,
worry.
you have to realize, hey, you know what? Maybe my time has come to just step away. Although you don't want to, but you don't want to
Yeah.
make it worse and
You would
harder for the
have to
person.
be. You're not a kid anymore telling me that for me to feel that way. That's the only way I see that.
No, but
You
this is
got to
what
be like 20 something. Like you're not just saying it to because I'm telling you to clean up. You know what I'm saying?
no,
Like
no, I get it.
you're saying it
But
because there's something else going on.
this is why I advocate that kids should never know grown people's business, because there's kids that are 7,
Ooh.
8, 9, or 10 who are talking back to families that are not part of their family,
Oh,
and they're saying, yeah, you're not my real dad. You're not my
man, I
real
wish the guys
dad.
are here. I wish
You're
the
not my
guys are
real
here.
dad.
But
That's what again. I've
I
seen it.
tend to agree with you. I tend to agree, but I don't have kids, so I've been told
Hmm,
that,
hmm.
and I could see it. I tend to agree, but I could see there are situations in which you do have to be honest and open with a kid.
Not about grown ass stuff though.
Okay, so let me give you a
Not
scenario.
not
Let me give you a
about the
scenario.
mortgage. Not about the water bill. Not about the
No, but
hydro.
I'm gonna give you a scenario.
Okay.
It's pretty simple, an everyday scenario. We kind of just already discussed it though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You separate from your wife
Mm-hmm.
and your kids are going to live with one of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's quote unquote a grown up situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't you have a discussion about what's
Yes.
happening here?
Yes. Yes. No, it's half and half. Yes, you
Okay.
should
Okay.
discuss about it,
Mhm,
but only to the point where they need to know. You're going to be living on this side of the city with your mom,
mhm.
and then I'm going to come pick you up on this day, and you're going to hang out with dad.
But
Why?
why?
You
Yeah.
don't need to know why.
But how do you answer that? That's how you answer it?
No, 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 no. You would word it in a way that would be sufficient for a child to understand, but you don't need to go into detail of why things were happening.
I understand what you're saying,
Okay.
but how? Give me an answer. How do you answer that child when they say, "But why, Dad"?
It depends on the situation. I mean, I don't even want to think of
Not
these answers.
really. No, okay, I get you. I get
Right.
that.
I
Not,
don't want to think of them, but I get, like, it's just going to be hard to put it into words on how
Mhm,
you present it to a child that something happens. Say for instance,
mhm.
the girl cheats on me. Okay, well, now you got to get out and you got to
You don't
leave.
tell the child that you cheated.
Right. You just tell, hey, things like this, things happen, right? You don't have to go into deep detail. Just give them that's nice icing on the top and sugar it up for them so they can say, oh, okay, well, no problem. Do I get to still see you? Of course. I'm gonna come see you all the time.
Okay,
All the
so
time.
now here, new scenario. Well, added scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens. Boom. You give that explanation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Your child then comes back to you and says, "Ah, um, Dad. Mom said that she left because you were with another woman. Is that true?"
See, that's when the child, that's when I say, you know what? You have to correct that behavior on the parents' part, because the parents should not be telling the child that type of details. You don't want to make your if they're not a bad person, well, even if they are a bad person, they're the parent. They're supposed to be looked at as superheroes. They're supposed to want. So you chop that person's freaking tree down or their roots, and they can't stand. Then you have a fatherless son or daughter that's going to try to do something else to replace who was there. Let them stand.
But how do you handle the whether it's a lie or the truth? How do you handle the other parent not living by?
You have to talk to that parent. You have
even if I agree, and that would be my first step. But it doesn't stop. She doesn't care what you say because she's mad, whatever. She's upset. You did cheat or you didn't cheat, whatever. But she's upset that you're separated, so she wants to hurt you through your kids.
So then you just say, hey, you know what, Billy? Adults get upset and say things that might be true or not true, right? So don't worry about that. You worry about your time with me right now, and we'll go do whatever. And you go worry about your mom. You're with your mom when you're with them, and don't worry about that. That's adult stuff. That's all.
Okay, so and I agree. I'm not disagreeing. Ideally, I think I would like to, because like yourself, I think if I'm reading what you're saying right, I would like to avoid the tit for tat. I would also like to avoid putting a dark light on their mother. Like I don't want to say, "Oh, your mom is lying." That's not true. Your mom's a liar. I don't want to do that either. But I do also see where it becomes a thing. Like I can also see, and there's scenarios this happens where the kid starts to believe the mother and starts to hold it against you because you're the reason why we're not together anymore. It's your fault, Dad.
Right.
That's what Mom says, and it's got to be true because you're not saying it isn't true.
That's when you walk into that slippery slope. That's
and it's tough, man.
You have to hold your emotions in check. Says, you know what, son, daughter, whatever. Again,
one day you'll understand.
Adults go through a lot of stuff, and when you're that age and you need to know, I will sit down with you and tell you all that's going on.
Okay, so this is an age specific.
Oh yes,
theory. Yes.
You don't hide it for life because they're going to be grown and they might go through it at age 16. 17.
I've had this discussion with a friend of mine, and I see his perspective, and I do understand that you also are running the risk of alienating your child.
100%.
Like you're running the risk of not being able to get to the point where you can explain it to them because they don't want to hear from you.
Yeah.
They believe
mom. That's the risk. And that's the risk. Well, you have to always give that reassurance. Integrity. Yes. You always have to give that reassurance though that, hey, I'm here. I'm never going anywhere. You can listen to whatever your mom has said about me. Just know I'm going to be here all the time for you. That's grown. That's grown stuff. When you're grown, we can sit down and have this conversation. But right now, just be a kid. Just be you, and I'll be your dad.
I'm here for you. Your mom is here for you. Exactly. What we're going through is what we're going through.
Exactly. There's no need for all that tit for tat, trash talk and whatnot. I don't endorse that. I don't. No, I don't. So I even when it's current, I just keep quiet, man. I don't like yelling. I don't like fighting. Arguing is just beyond me. If there's something, if there's someone that you're with and they don't want to be with you, all right, they can go, right? And if you're feeling that you don't want to be there, hey, tell them I don't want to be here. I'm out. Fine.
Yeah.
I mean my daughter's mom said it. She says, you know what, we're not getting along. And it looks like we're just roommates in here. So I feel like we could just co-parent. I'm going to leave. I'm like, I turned around. I'm like, oh, it is what it is. I can't fight it. You've already made the decision.
But I can respect it.
Yeah. You never talked about it, but you've already made the decision. So that means you've already checked out weeks ago. You've already made that decision.
Where you don't want to be.
Exactly. If you don't want to be here, exactly. So you can find your way and do whatever you need to do. Just know that I'm going to do my best for my daughter when I do have her. And that's what I've been doing. So that's all you can do. You can only fight for yourself and be who you are with what you have. Just make sure you have clothes, food, transportation to do whatever you need to do as a parent. Nothing else matters. That person could hate you. That whole other side of the family could hate you. Don't matter to me.
Doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. As long as I'm doing what I need to do, nothing else matters. You can think I'm the dirtiest man in the world. Oh, you have this car and not that car. Oh, you live in this area and not that area. I'm protecting my daughter.
My daughter's clean, fed, and sheltered, and
nothing else matters. Exactly. Nothing else matters. So that's it. And again, we'll talk about this again soon with the people that we have coming in. we'll definitely hold a lot of I have a lot of relationship questions myself to ask. Well, we have 2 guests coming in on a show. 2 of them. One just gave me a book to read too, an audio book. I'll let you know about that. Yeah, well, I was going to send it to you guys to
That's
take
it
in.
Yeah, send it. I
I'll
would
send it to you guys in the thing. But it's a good thing to have to talk to these people. I love interacting with all these new people. You have people blowing up my messenger. It's called matchmaker.fm for people who want to join podcasts as guests, or even you wanting them on your
that is
show.
some dating site.
No. See, I thought people would take that like that. I'm like, whoa. But yeah, it's all about podcasting, just talking about things. I mean, there's a guy who hit me up and said, yo, I want to talk about living in the US. I said, well, you do know I'm a Canadian, right? And this is a Canadian show. It don't matter. I want to talk about it. But sure.
No, I wouldn't mind doing that.
I'm like,
that
no problem.
That'd be good.
I'm like, oh, he's an immigrant and he's living in the US. So I'm like, yeah, let me know how you feel in that. I'll hit you up. So again, we'll definitely slate them out as best as we can and get everybody on board if we can. If not, I'll do one-on-ones. Like I said prior, we're going to do the major squad on Fridays. We'll release them on Fridays for all 4 of us and anything bigger than us. These extra ginger episodes, usually midweek, Wednesday. We just released the one just now. The one with myself and Slang just did. And then, of course, I have some extra time and I'll do some one-on-one interviews with people I've known or would like to know that might intrigue people. Like my buddy Paul Johnson, who just got awarded the Assistant Coach of the Year in track and field, and he works at U of T.
No.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So I had to interview him. I interviewed him and asked him how it went from being, because I was his track teammate, and now he's all of a sudden doing this whole thing with track, flying angels and all that stuff. I'm like, man, I got to know what it took and where you're going with this. So I sat down with him for about an hour.
Gave me a thought. Go ahead.
Yeah, I sat down with an hour with him and just chopped it up with him. So I'm gonna definitely get that all edited, and we'll send that out on a Monday when it's all ready to go. So yeah, we got big things here, man. Big things. We got
just gave me a
whole bunch of things going.
Guest, actually.
Yeah,
I'm gonna talk to her about it. But yeah, man. Do remember gotheremusic.com, gotheremusic.com.
Most definitely.
Everywhere. I haven't said this in a while.
No doubt.
Slang you everywhere. IG, Facebook. What else is there? Twitter.
You name it.
But especially check my YouTube page. Both pages, all of us that have pages. Please like, subscribe, comment.
Facts. Now, before we go, I noticed your IG is mostly with cover art, right? Who does your cover art, or do you just find those? Because they're very great artwork. That I was trying to shout out.
I think I should tell you off this thing. It's not a secret though. Okay. It's good old AI.
I knew it had to be AI. So I'm like, okay. But they look great. I was just trying to compliment those. They're just eye catching. I was going through your IG. I'm like, man, there's some old pictures of you. That I'm like, these covers. They're just looking at me. Yeah, they just look wow. And I'm realizing that they look similar to some of the things, but I didn't want to assume that you had the same artist or whatever. So I'm like, I had to ask you. I'm like, okay, let me know so I can just, I'm
gonna tell you. I'll tell you about it. I'm gonna tell you about it. I'll explain it to you better.
Okay. I'm doing right now a rebranding of the whole Unleashed clothing or whatnot. Everything's right down to the supplements. Myself and my girl are rebranding everything. So I'm getting new affiliates. I'm getting new products made. I'm starting from scratch and I'm building everything from the ground up, bit by bit. So I wanted to make sure I have all the pieces to make sure it's successful this time. Because I put it out last time. I mean, shout out to Finn, who has the 416, and I heard he's going to bring that back. But again, he gave me the inspiration to start doing this. I'm like, man, I just jumped into it and I didn't realize. But now I'm taking my time. I have the money, I have the time, I have the partnership to do it. We're going in all in. So look for that coming up in the next few weeks for sure.
Until next time, brother.
Until next time, we are out. Peace and love. We'll check you on the flip side.
Air grease.
We out. Peace.